Good evening, friends. It is a little after 10 o'clock at night, and I just finished another book. This one is called Foresight: How to See the Invisible and Do the Impossible by Daniel Burrus with John David Mann. You see that? Really good book. Just finished it, and I want to share, and so I'm doing this little brief video on the books that I read this year, and these aren't book reports, and I'm not really summarizing the books. I'm just kind of sharing a couple of things from the book, right? But this book talks about, in the beginning of it, it talks about a lot. That's why I'm not going to try to cover everything that the book covers. But it talks about changes and the difference between cyclic changes and linear changes. Cyclic changes are like day and night, you know, keeps changing, keeps coming around. Linear changing would be like aging of an individual, right? You don't turn from 10 years old to 5 years old, you know, kind of a thing. Talks about trends, the difference between hard trends and soft trends. It's late, so I can't speak apparently. But it talks about trends, the difference between soft trends and hard trends. Page 169. Let's see what I have here on 169. 169, I highlighted, the way we've always done it is the biggest hurdle we face going forward successfully into the future. The real barriers today are no longer technical or material, they're attitudinal, right? And this is a book that, I mean, it covers so many different things, but this is a book that I hope all corporate leaders, for their sake and their company's sake, read. This is I consider a must-read book for anybody in any type of, you know, running a large company and involved in decision making for the company, and it's even, all right. So this is it says 7 radical principles that will transform your business. You know, flash foresight, how to see the invisible and do the impossible. But so it's geared as a business book, I guess. But really, I mean, this is something that everyone would be well served to have in their head. And then one other thing I wanted to share up here, page 246 sums up the book. So let me see what 246 said. I already have an idea of what it said, but I'm not going to try to just wing it. I'm going to refer to the book here. So he's talking about this concept of Tomorrow Lab, what he calls Tomorrow Lab, and it's, well, I'll just read a couple things here. He says, if you picked up this book hoping to find some answers, I hope by now you've found something of greater value, some better questions, right? And then I'm skipping some stuff here, but a part that I highlighted here that I wanted to share with you, it talks about, sometimes the best answer is a question. Putting flash foresight to work starts with asking yourself some powerful questions. In a world filled with uncertainty, what are you certain about? What does your visible future look like? What problems are you about to have, and how can you solve them before they happen? Most important, what actions should you take now in order to have a better future? Well, what a wonderful question for the individual to ask themselves. Now, that's why I say this isn't just a business book for business leaders and corporate executives and stuff like that. I mean, what actions should you take now in order to have a better future? And that's a powerful question to ask, right? And then the last part here that I highlighted that I made note to, that I wanted to share here was the future's where you're going to spend the rest of your life. Would it be worth to spend an hour a week to think about it? An hour a week he's referring to his Tomorrow Lab exercise. And he breaks down some really valuable exercises that you can do, questions you can ask, and the idea is he wants you to turn off your phone, turn off your device, just unplug from the now world, and just kind of visualize what the world of tomorrow is going to look like. And after having read the book, I mean, he breaks down, you know, when you're talking about trends, how to recognize and acknowledge what is a soft trend and what is a hard trend, and the differences in them, first of all, and then how to recognize, you know, this trend is, you know, are we going back, or is it a hard trend? It's never going back, you know, kind of a thing. and there's so many other things. These are just a few things that I made note of that I wanted to try to give you an idea of what this book's about, and that's probably a poor representation because this book really covers a lot of stuff. But I feel like I hit a couple of things that I wanted to say at least about it. But all in all, Flash Foresight is a fantastic book. I do highly recommend it to anyone who's a critical thinker. This book, I'd never heard of it before. I read Randy Gage's Risky is the New Safe, which is a wonderful book that I did not do a video on because it was like one of the last books that I read last year, and I just started this commitment to do a brief video on every book that I read this year. So I haven't done a video on Risky is the New Safe, though I'm going to. I want to read that one again, and then I will shoot a video on that one. But anyway, at the end of Risky is the New Safe, Randy Gage's book, he has a list of what he called must-read books for the critical thinker, or whatever he said. He had a list of books that he considered must-read books, and a handful of them I had read, and most of them I hadn't. And this is one of the ones that I hadn't, so I got it and just read it, and I'm really glad that I did. So anyway, it is 10:30 at night on a Tuesday night. Got some clothes in the dryer. Just finished a book. I don't have my other book that I'm about to start. Actually, I just picked this one off the shelf. I ordered last night a book called Prosper, and I wish I knew who it was by right now, so I could tell you about it. But I ordered a book called Prosper from Amazon. I should get that in here in the next couple of days. That's going to be the next book that I actually read. So in the meantime, while I am waiting on my next book to come in, I'm going to reread some of this, Why You're Dumb, Sick, and Broke, and How to Get Smart, Healthy, and Rich by Randy Gage. I'm not going to reread the whole book, but I am going to thumb through it, just kind of read some parts in it. This is a book that I read, actually. I do this, by the way. I date the books, date that I started it, date that I finished it, and it's just kind of a cool thing, you know, when I put it on the shelf in my library and I pull it off later. It's just kind of neat. But anyway, I read this one back in 2008, it looks like, September of 2008. So it's been a while. Really liked it. I'm going to reread some of this stuff here, just kind of thumb through this while I wait for my next book. But anyway, I'm repeating myself now, so I will say goodbye, good night, thanks for watching, and bye-bye.